Guys, so tonight's video is going to be everything to do with getting a good night's sleep. Now, how many of you on a day-to-day basis are getting to like dinner time in the mid-afternoon and you get this energy slump, and then when you get home from work you're still tired, and then just before bed or as you get in bed your mind pings up, your mind starts racing, you start stressing and you just can't switch off. What we're going to do with tonight's video is we're going to go over the 5 most beneficial things that we, the coaches at the SF, feel like you'll get the most from when we're applying it to real life daily situations. We're going to talk about some of the bullshit we hear, the things that, yeah, it could be useful, but realistically, are you going to sit there with a pair of ski goggles on at night trying to block the blue light? It's pretty much zero, especially if you want some hanky-panky with the missus later on. So, stay tuned and we'll go through everything. Now, no matter if your goal is to drop body fat, get shredded, build muscle, get strong, or just generally feel better, sleep is one of the 3 pillars of health when it comes to maximising results. First, we cover your food, you cover your training and your output, and then we make sure that we're resting and recovering. Now, out of these 3, it's usually sleep and recovery where people fall down. Now, this might sound like you, or you'll know someone at least who is this person. Now, first of all, if we look at sleep and all the benefits of sleep, it's a broad spectrum. It goes from boosting energy levels to improving your training performance. You'll be feeling more recovered, you'll have more energy to train, you'll be able to train harder. Think of your sex drive. The more we sleep, the more rested we are, the higher your sex drive. We've also got just looking at your general health as a whole. And then if we think about the side effects that it can have is, if you're rested and you're feeling good, you're more likely to stick to a program. So if you're dieting, if any of you out there listening who've been at the back end of a diet, and when you are dieting, you realise at the back end when your sleep starts to suffer, because it will be impeded at some point, your hunger levels go higher, your want to stick to plan goes lower because you're tired, you're fatigued. So sleep underpins everything, and that's why we're going to do a video this evening on how to get into a good sleep routine and how to maximise it, not just for your results, but for your health. Okay, so tip number 1, and it's probably arguably the most important tip, and that is routine. Now, when it comes to your bedtime and when it comes to your get up time, routine is essential. The body likes to know where it is, the brain likes to know where it is, you like to know where it is. If one night you're going to bed at 9 p.m, the next night you're going to bed at 1 p.m, but you're still up at 6, your sleep and the time that you're spending in deep sleep varies day to day. Now, what we find with the amount of clients that we've worked with as a collective at the SF over the years is you will find that a lot of people with disturbed sleep patterns are the ones without routine. Now, obviously you can look at people who do shift work, obviously that's another subject, but a lot of the time you find people who struggle are the ones without a routine. They're always the ones who will sleep a little bit extra, the ones who will always stay up later watching the next Netflix film. And then they'll complain that they're tired, they're energyless, they're tired in work, they haven't got the motivation, the drive, the hunger levels are through the roof. And when you strip it down to bare bones, remember me saying, you've got training, you've got nutrition, and then you've got sleep. You'll often find when sleep is unpinned, the stabilisation and the balance of training and nutrition goes downhill. If you're tired, you're going to be less likely to train hard. If you're tired, you're going to be wanting to eat more. So the importance of routine, it sounds so simple, but it's one of the most effective things you will do in improving your sleep. As we move past, obviously, routine is tip number 1, you can kind of see with sleep, you kind of have like a training routine with it. You have a pre, a during, and an after, and sleep's the same. Now, one of the key elements to getting to sleep in the first place is creating a chilled environment, and that's tip number 2. Now, the more frantic your environment is, if there's loads going on, the lights are on, if there's music playing, if you're watching a TV program that is stimulating, that gets you thinking, if it's a noisy environment, then your brain is going to be active. Now, when you start going into the nitty-gritty of it all, you could look at blue light and red light and all the rest of it. Obviously, the blue light is, you know, man-made light that we're getting from a computer screen or the lights or the TV. And then red light is what we're getting from fire, so candles, log fires, that sort of vibe. Now, in the evenings, you want to try and limit your exposure to blue light. So if you're sat in the living room, turn the big lights off, put the small ones on, or even better, put some candles on. Yes, lads, even though you might think you're being a bit hom, it does help. If we focus on making your arena, your environment, your sleeping environment nice and chilled, you're then more likely to switch off. Your brain then can calm down, come down a few pegs and start to switch off. Now, tip number 3, which is tied in with the pre-bed ritual, is your last evening meal. Now, this again is person dependent like everything, but what you'll find is carbohydrate heavy meals will start to make you feel chilled. You know, you get your serotonin release, you start switching off, you start relaxing. So a small portion of carbs before bed. You know, again, the timing of the meal will be down to you. The size of the portion will be down to you. If you eat too big of a meal, obviously your stomach's going to be full, you're going to be digesting and you're going to struggle to sleep. But if you get the right amount, it can be a real good way of helping you chill out in the evening. And for those of you that are dieting as well, you can leave these sort of meals for later in the day to look forward to. You've had your evening meal, then later on when you're chilling on the sofa, you get on to your second, or not second, but your last meal of the day. Now, if you're a sweet person, you can make it a little bit sweet. So as you saw in the video, I like to add a lot of sweetener in. I'm using the almond milk. Well, one, because my missus can't have dairy at the moment, so I'm stuck with almond. But I use the sweetener to keep it sweet, so it feels like a dessert at the end of the day. And because of the type of texture and because I love porridge, it chills me out and it helps me switch off in the evenings. Now for you, it could be simple as a bagel before bed or some cereal, something sweet, so it's like a dessert after your evening meal, and you've always got something to look forward to. But as I said, it is person dependent. You might not like carbs before bed, it might sit on you heavily, well that's what you don't, so therefore you don't go down that route. But tip number 3, and I find this works with the majority of people, is have a nice tasty evening meal or snack just before bed, anywhere between 90 minutes, 2 hours before bed, so you can allow it to digest and get tucked in. Tip number 4 is a to-do list, or basically downloading your brain and putting it onto paper. Now, time and time again, how many times have you gone to bed and you think, oh shit, have I done this, have I done that, what do I need to do first thing tomorrow? The more you can download and put on paper or on your phone, you know, I have to-do lists on my phone, that's the main source I personally use. I don't really use paper that much. This is purely just for the Instagram video. But the more and more you can put down from your brain onto a piece of paper or onto your iPhone, the more your brain can relax, knowing that there is information stored elsewhere. Okay then, point number 5, blue light blockers, aka shag blockers. Now, being realistic, who the fuck is going to wear these at night time, getting into bed with the missus, chilling out, trying to get up to a little bit hanky-panky, yeah? These are what I'm going to call the bullshit stuff. These things, you see them a lot in the fitness industry now, a lot of coaches wearing them in the computer screens at night and all the rest of it. Now again, us at the SF, this is what we're going to put in the pile of that it's not realistic and you're not really going to stick to it. Now don't get me wrong, they have the place. Okay, so people who are after that 1%, people who may be working late at night and they have to be in front of a computer screen, but mainly the blue light blockers are for the people who are after that real small percentage of improving that sleep. But for the rest of us, for the normal person, for the real life person, you might buy a pair, you might spend, I think these cost me 15 quid just for this video, but you might buy a pair, wear them once or twice and never put them on again, because there's no way you're sat on your sofa with the missus chilling out, kids running round or watching Netflix, whatever, and you're whacking a pair of these bad boys on, asking for a bit of nookie. So now you've eradicated that blue light blockers, cot blockers, we're going to go on to the real point number 5, and this is the intra of the sleep night, of the sleep routines, and this is what we call bedroom hygiene. Now, other than obviously having clean sheets and it smelling nice and not be full of shit, we're actually on about the sleeping environment. Now think about it when you go away on holiday. For some reason you seem to sleep really well, nice and deep, and you're fucking sparked out. You often find though when you're on holiday, you're in a darker room, there's blackout curtains on, it's cool because of the aircon, you've wiped out, you've had a productive day, and in the bedroom, it's pretty much blackout. It's like a bat cave. Now that is exactly what we mean by bedroom hygiene. We want a nice cool room. We want a cool room because one, when we're sleeping, our body temperature wants to drop. So if you're in a hot room, you will struggle to switch off and go to sleep. So A, cool room. 2, you want it pitch black. So if you haven't got blackout curtains, get blackout curtains. If there's noises going outside the windows, maybe look at getting some earplugs. You want to think about any sort of like electromagnetic stress. So LED lights coming from your TVs, your computers, your phone, etc. You want to get rid of them. Ideally, you'd sleep without a TV in the room. That's ideal. Now, I know some of you watching, you may be living at your parents, you may be in a flat or whatever, and it is what it is. So you want to find a way of getting that red light out of the way and maybe changing the way you set up the bedroom to maximize your sleep. Now again, as I'll keep reiterating through this video, there's a lot of like, here's how to do it perfectly, but here's what's realistic. So again, all the advice that we're giving you, cherry pick what's good for you, give it a go and see what works. Now with the bedroom hygiene as well, you basically just want to be keeping everything low key, nice and chilled, pitch black, no disturbances, no reason for your body to wake up. Now remember, the bedroom is for 2 reasons. It's for sleeping, or it's for fucking. Yeah. Now as cheesy as that is, there is a specific reason why I said it. That is the reason for the bedroom. You either want to be sleeping in it or you want to be banging in it. And that's the way you want to keep it. Now again, person dependent, and where you're living in your circumstances, that may be something different. But if you're sat up all night on your Xbox, tossing it off, or watching Netflix, and you're wondering why you can't get to sleep, you probably look through the list of what we spoke through tonight. We've got your routines, we've got the chilled out environments, you've got your last meal, you've got supplementation, you've got your to-do list, and everything in between. Now the one other thing that you want to look at is your caffeine intake and stimulants. So if you're going to bed at 11 o'clock at night, you want to be pulling your caffeine out by 4 or 5 in the afternoon at the absolute latest. Now obviously sometimes you've got to do what you've got to do to get through the day. You've got work deadlines, you've got education deadlines. Sometimes you might have to have that caffeine hit. But more often than not, you want to pull that caffeine out earlier in the day. Okay then, so supplementation. It's one of the most common questions you'll get when it comes to sleep. What supplements will help me sleep better? Now the reason I'm not putting it in my 5 top tips tonight is because they will not outdo poor sleeping habits, poor routines, poor environments. They're just the cherry on the cake once you've maximised everything else. But for the sake of today's video, some of the stuff that you want to be looking at within a sleep blend, you normally find sleep stacks now are in blends. You want to be looking for zinc and magnesium. You want to be looking for ashwagandha, which is an adaptogenic herb that's shown that it can lower anxiety levels in some individuals. You have stuff like taurine, you have selenium, you have L-tyrosine that can help, and theanine. Now these are just a few to wrap off the bat. But when it comes to these supplements, like I said, you want to be focusing on good habits and everything that we're going to post in tonight's video. And as you can see, these aren't actually sleep supplements, or this one kind of is. I've not used them in ages, so I had to grab some out of the cupboard. Yes guys, hope you enjoyed tonight's video in regards to sleep and how to get to sleep, how to set up your bedroom to help you maximise results and generally just feel better. Now as always, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the share button and the subscribe button and help us grow so we can reach out to more people. Now if you want to find us anywhere else, make sure you find us on Instagram or Facebook at The Strength Factory, or you can drop us an email in the comments below and we can take it from there.